Well, it's Tuesday now, and I guess where I left off was I was about to go out for a jog, and also the water was turned off in the hotel for construction reasons. And I did go out for that jog, and I had a good time. The trail condition was a bit soggy, um, so I kind of decided to not press my luck because of footing and traction. It was a little bit slippery with some patches of ice still on the trail. But I went out um, a ways and then came back. I didn't have I just estimated distance, estimated time too, because I couldn't find my watch. It's somewhere in my car, packed. And as it turned out, I was out for just over half an hour. You know, checked the clock in the car before I left, and then on the way back. And it was a really nice day yesterday. It was like over 60 degrees. And again, today it's about 50 or so. But temperatures are about to plummet. There's going to be a 40-degree Fahrenheit temperature swing going into tonight as a front moves through. But then in like another day, it's going to be right back up into the 50s, possibly 70 here by Saturday, I think. So like record-setting, warmth for this part of the country, and many parts of the country. But then when I got back from the jog yesterday, the water was back on. I didn't ask what was wrong or if it was going to happen again. I was just glad that whatever the situation was resolved, and so I was able to take a shower and get cleaned up, and then I went out to dinner up at my brother and sister-in-law's house, and he hadn't actually gotten back from the trip yet. He was still driving, so I was just up there by myself with my sister-in-law and my nephew, and we just went ahead and had dinner, and then he arrived a little bit later. But it was a nice meal. She made a homemade her interpretation of borscht. So it's a beet soup base, and with beef and carrots and potatoes and onion and spices and things like that. So very excellent. Served with sourdough bread, and I don't get home cooked meals very often, if ever, hardly. So it's I tend to appreciate them quite a bit, and so and it was a nice evening, and then just had regular conversation and just hung out, and didn't really do anything, and my brother had just gotten back from a long drive, and we didn't really have any plans to do anything, and we didn't just share each other's company, and yeah, and then it's just a regular day. It's school night, so my nephew needs to get have dinner, get washed up, and go to bed, and the adults, myself included, just talk about nothing or something or anything, and yeah. But for me, even all of that nothing is something more than what I'm used to, because I'm used to just spending the majority of my time by myself with my own thoughts, and that can be okay most of the time, but then sometimes it's like, if I'm just alone by myself for too long, I don't know, I can start just my self-talk, my self-dialogue, or internal monologue, isn't always the most constructive, because I can start telling myself some things and worrying over some things that might not have much foothold in actuality. So, but it's me that's telling myself these things. So it's like I tend to um, give myself some credit, but I might end up, arriving at some unnecessary conclusions where I start building things up to be more than what they actually are, and that worry becomes excessive. When I'm trying to apply what I know, or what I think that I know, onto future events that haven't even happened yet. And, so it's kind of becomes an exercise in futility, because until situations actually have a chance to happen, it's like, why expend all that extra energy, trying to predict events, worrying over problems that might never become reality. But I don't know. I guess it's it's in my nature. I think it's in a lot of people's nature. So I don't feel all that special about it or anything. I think it's just part of the human condition. I don't think it's all that out of the ordinary or uncommon at all. I am fairly typical and average and ordinary in that regard. Not entirely unconventional. Conventionally worried about things. So, if anything, I can take a sort of comfort in the fact that I am average. Maybe not, entirely mediocre, but fairly average, with an average experience. But I'm still doing the best that I know how to do, given my circumstances and resources, and what gifts that I have, and the tools that I have. Some that I've learned, and others are just more innate, that I didn't do anything or earn them, So maybe I take them for granted, or they're just a given because I didn't actually have to do anything. And so it's like, whatever it is that I don't feel like I've worked for, I tend to not notice, acknowledge, or appreciate. So, But again, that's, I think, not abnormal. I think it's a fairly ordinary sentiment. Of course, I also believe that a lot of people are concerned about what is normal and fitting in or conforming or not. People want to be unique, but they don't want to stand out. Or they want to stand out, but they want to fit in. Or they don't want to fit in, but they want to be liked. Or they don't want to be liked, but they want to be accepted. And it gets complicated. Of course, everybody's looking for slightly different versions of the same thing. But we go about it in such vastly different ways. And it can get very convoluted and intricate in its architecture. As part of the weather forecast with this front coming in, they're talking about snowburst squalls, where it'll just be extremely windy with snow flurries. I'm looking forward to seeing that. I'll capture some video if it does end up happening. But little to no accumulation. So at most, like they're saying, an inch. But on this warm ground, it probably won't stick very well or very much. So I was actually hoping when I got up here, it'd be more wintry-like. But I'll take it, because I am traveling, and winter conditions. It might be nice to look at, but it does make travel a little bit more perilous. But I take my time. I'm not in a rush. I don't have a deadline. If anything, it's more like a lifeline, you know. So anyway, and then this morning I did go out to see the sunrise, and it was nice. I took a lot of videos and photographs, and then I took a tour around another little park in the area, and again took photographs and things. And after that, since I didn't actually get a full night's sleep because I woke up early to go out, I took a nap, and that was really nice. But there was construction going on above me, and I thought to myself, normally that would bother me, with the noise being directly above me and construction. There's random thumps and sounds of things moving around, and sounds like a vacuum or something, I'm not sure. But now that I'm not in my old location, and I know it's people just doing their job, and it's I'm in the room, and most people aren't spending that much time in their hotel rooms during the day. They go do things outside, and I don't have any place to actually be at this moment. I could be at my brother's house if I wanted to, but I'm just enjoying my quiet time right here. And so I did have a nice nap, and wasn't too bothered by the sounds of construction, because it's just like, yeah, I just feel satisfied and contented with where I'm at and what I'm doing, and it might not appear to be all that much, and it's probably because it isn't, but to me, it feels like I'm right where I'm supposed to be. I have a choice in the matter about what I'm doing, but feels like yeah. So sometimes words escape me, and that's okay. I don't need to worry so much about having the right words on demand. They just arrive when they do, and I just need to be more aware and be less afraid to say whatever it is that I'm thinking, because there's nothing inherently wrong with any of it. I might not be right about a lot of it, but still I have every right to think it or feel it or believe it, regardless of whether it's actually true or not. And if I don't say what I actually think and feel and believe, then it's like I don't open myself up to other people being able to observe or offer them their own observation or opinion or experience. And then maybe they have something that they share based on what I've shared, and they say something, and then I can learn from them, and they learn from me, and it's like, it's neat. I enjoy it, as long as it's being, constructive. Of course, what is constructive? Is it, it's a variable definition there sometimes. Maybe a cooperative is a better word. But I was thinking yesterday about how it's like I don't have really any answers. I have answers that work for me that I've found over time, and I don't even know exactly how it is that I arrived at some of the answers that I have, and I can't really put them into words. but they work for me. Um, but I wouldn't suggest or advise anyone, um, you know, to try what works for me to work for them. I wouldn't suggest it. I mean, it might, but they would have to adapt it to themselves and their own life and the context, of their experience. It's like whenever anyone's, telling me or suggesting to me, um, anything about how they do something, and they think, they're trying to tell me to, how I should do something. It's like, I'm sure what they're telling me works for them. So they're just trying to be helpful. But I just feel a lot of times that most people, they don't really know me, and they're not really trying to get to know me. They just are, I don't know. Anyway. But I guess my thought that I was getting back to, or trying to get to, was the fact that beware anyone that claims to have answers, because they might only have answers that work for them, or they might have answers that they think work for some, but more than likely they're just selling something, for profit. And as long as there's an audience and a market for answers, then people will be more than happy to keep selling them at whatever price that hope sells for these days. It's a lot of times that's exactly what people are trying to sell. Some variety of hope that they can make things better or improve someone else's life in whatever way that person wants to improve, whether it's wealth or status or beauty or fortune or fame, whatever that, anything really. If whatever anyone wants, somebody else, there's a market for it, that somebody else is going to try to sell them what they want under false pretense. But buyer beware, really. So, and everything that I say, of course, goes for me, that I need to, these are things that I am paying attention to, because I've fallen prey to, people that appear to know what they're doing, appear to have a sense of the world, and they do, their world, but it's a cautionary tale where I need to be mindful, there's that word again, of attempting to replicate or duplicate other people's results based on what they say. It's like I can listen to what other people say, but then I have to apply it to my own life. Because individual results will vary, and I can't set my expectations too high, where it's like I think that I'll somehow achieve what they have achieved, or my perception of what they've achieved, because I'm only seeing the surface, and I'm only seeing what they're showing, or what they might be projecting, so it might look a certain way, but I'm only seeing a small window of it, and just how they appear in public or in plain view. But who are they when no one's looking, when no one's watching? Who are they when they're by themselves? how do they talk to themselves? What do they talk to themselves about? How do they feel about themselves? Or is their confidence or image or status just built upon other people's perception of them? And if they don't feel as though they are receiving enough attention or respect, then their internal monologue collapses and implodes. And they start feeling worse and worse about themselves until they get some sort of infusion of validation or encouragement. Then they can fall victim to their own I've learned to not say certain words. I've been learning to censor myself a little bit because of this platform, and it doesn't really like certain words. So I guess I've been learning. It's like I don't like feeling like I need to censor myself, but I've learned that I shouldn't say certain words. Otherwise, it also like triggers certain unknown audience, to I don't know, think I'm talking about one thing, but I'm not. So I've been learning to be more considerate and sensitive of anyone that might be watching or listening. That it's like not exactly my intended, audience, I guess, because I'm really at the heart of it. Of course, I'm just talking to myself, keeping a record, an archive of what I was doing and what I was like at the time when this was going on. But before I knew that this was going on, because this is a time before that happened. So it's like I am. So anyway, now I've just danced around an entire topic, and it's like I have no idea. I've forgotten what it was. So anyway, again, these are not for any particular purpose. They're not designed to, win over the hearts and minds of anyone. It's just for me, it's a form of entertainment, because I think in this process, I get to learn something as well, or at least I get to practice what I think that I know, and check on it, and see if it still passes some, it's like, do I still believe that? Or maybe it's changed a little bit. Where am I at on that? So it's a little bit of a getting to know me, sort of. And I think, for me, it's been a part of my story for long enough that it's like I might as well just keep doing it. And it doesn't have to make sense. That's the other thing I was trying to get back to, is that nothing about life, in my sense of it, really has to make sense. Because a lot of times it's not going to, because I don't have access to all the information from all the perspectives of what is going on, why it's going on, and how it came to be. It's outside of my ability. So I just try to remind myself to be reserved and conscientious of my environment and my part in it, which is more than what I used to do. So I'm much more active participant and it feels better. So, anyway, I guess that's where I'm at with it today. And I should see about getting out there and doing something before this cold sweeps through. I've got the rest of today and Wednesday and Thursday here. And then Friday, I'm back on the road. But I'm not going to make an early start. That's just I'll get out there, you know, at my own leisurely pace, because I've got a long way to go. And I'm just going to, go at my own pace and travel at my own style. So, okay, but I'm getting a whole lot of nothing done, so I'm going to go do something